Greetings.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome back, Dave.
Welcome back, Simone.
Yeah, man. We were gone last week. We missed you guys.
I fly out, you know?
Yeah, we were in, you know what's vexing me right now? Is the fact that it was gray there, and we come back to in it gray here now. Outside is
Are you still
horrible.
wrath with vexation?
You know what? I was disappointed in England weather. I thought that I don't know what I was expecting, but maybe a little bit of sun.
Not me. I don't know what to expect. So everybody says it was gray. You know, it's always been gray and rainy and all that.
Terrible.
You know, and in fact, I was even saying this to my brethren, right? That Septimius, who was an African, who was the leader of the Roman army, actually the emperor, in fact, right? He died. Where he died was in England, and he died because, of course, of the cold climate. Right? So
no surprise there. None whatsoever. Welcome everyone to Here to Help You. We are glad to be back. We are taking off again this weekend. We're gone again.
Where are we going? Jokes. Sorry.
So
Bermuda, here it come.
Yes. So my TCN isn't going this time. We're going on the other side of the company now. We're going to Carib 101.
Yeah.
Here to House You is going to Bermuda, everybody.
Yes.
DJ
Indeed.
Dave Rankin is heading to Bermuda. We're going to be. I promise you guys, just tune into Carib 101. You'll find us. I'm sorry from now if the camera work's not the greatest.
You see, normally I bring my regular assistant, but you know, the budget wasn't
all you got is me.
it.
Anyhow, so today we are doing a show. It's been talked about before. Mm-hmm. I found it interesting when I was doing research. That's cool. I've never seen that before. I'm sorry, you see it? Shiny squirrel. I got distracted. I just saw. I was like, oh wait, what is that? That's cool. What does that say, Dave? Read that out for the viewers. I know they see it, but read it for me.
Yeah, I know, right? Get involved in the conversation. Call in live 647-931-4701.
Get involved with the conversation. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so please do call. Do you see the number? Call in. We would love to hear from you.
Listen, show's here for you guys. But today we're talking about literature. Or books.
Yes.
And stories.
Yes.
Today we were supposed to have a guest, and unfortunately she could not make it. She is the author of the Effigy
series, yes.
Dave knows a little bit more than I do about it.
Well, I read an article, Sarah, please don't forgive me what her last name. Thank you very much, Rafley. All right, I hope I said that even correctly as well. But anyways, I read an article in the Metro News regarding, of course, how young African adult fiction, right, and how that's lack of representation. And it was very interesting, of course, to read something on this, especially coming from an author who now has penned 2 books, which were similar into now the Maze Runner series, very similar to, of course, to like Cadmus. What's the name of the movie?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Thank you very much.
No, that's not it. It's not To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a Mockingbird, the Mocking series.
Well, thanks. Right, Mockingjay. Who knows? But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the girl, right. She was the forest, and then
in the forest with the arrows.
Arrows. She did the arrow thing.
Yes, Cadmus.
So if you guys remember her name, call in. Don't see us here just struggling trying to come up with this name, guys. But anyhow, yes, that's zero.
But something along the same line of genre, right? And then more importantly is that the lead character is Nigerian.
Oh, cool.
Right, so it's very interesting. In fact, later on the show, I'm sure we'll throw up the copies of the books, the pictures of the books. But by means, you know what? Like, very, very interesting. But however, though, she's not here today. So we decided to go ahead and do something very similar to, of course, what she would have been explaining anyways.
Yeah.
Right, which of course is the representation, of ourselves in literature.
All right, so let's dive into it. So, Dave, of course, we kind of work like, we're a pretty good team sometimes. So
only sometimes.
So I said, Dave, what are we going to do now? Right? The very last minute, what are we going to do? So he's like, well, I saw an article. Dave always sees an article. This is why I have him do the initial work. It's like a what is those things that you pass the baton? Relay. It's like a relay race. I'm the 4th runner. Dave's like 3rd. He's like the 3rd slowest person, but he's still part of the team.
Hold on. Time out. Follow the play. Red flag. Listen, man. What is that?
So
the 3rd slowest?
But at the end of the day, you're still part of the team. So I get the baton and I brought it home, right? So
My poor belly. That's not cool.
So Miss Davina Hamilton,
yes.
She's a British journalist. I believe I have a picture of her on point. Specializes in arts, culture, and lifestyle. And she wrote an article in the Huffington Post called Black Representation Matters in the Books Our Kids Grow Up With. So I pulled out little small parts of this article. Again, you can look it up if you want to on Huffington Post. So I figured we'd bring up some of the stuff she's talking about. Then we'd look back. I'd like to always take it back to the psychological aspect because the mental, the mind, remember literature, anything that has to do with literature and influence. And it's the mind.
Of course.
Right. So I'm going to take it there, and then we're going to hit it home with some history about some of the black books. I don't want to say black. That's not what I meant to say.
So you get a chance to say it over now.
So, African books and how they started here in North America. Okay, so some points from her. For those of us who know how it feels to have our identities rarely reflected in mainstream society, it's a joy when we do.
Oh, that's evident.
Black Panther.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing right now in regards to like seeing us in, of course, the movie cinema, right? For that, now we're open doors, of course, to other types of course, either whether it's based off of other characters, new characters, and insightful characters, but at least it opens doors and of course for something like this to take place regularly.
Yeah.
Right? What it also opened doors to now, of course, is not just having it funded by those outside of our culture, but now for those within the culture. Hold on, man. Hold on, me. I'm the third slowest, so I need to say.
You see what I'm talking about? Look how long it took this man to get to his point.
Hold on, man. We long. What I meant to say is this. I am going to say is this, right? People within the culture now recognize the value, right? And not just to recognize the value from, of course, supporting after the end product, right? But also getting a chance to support it in the initial stages as well.
Third runner. That's all I got to say. So... Sips tea, right? All right. So whether we're covering the importance of young black girls having access to dolls that reflect their image, the plight of a Rastafari schoolboy who was ordered by his school to cut off his dreadlocks, or the way in which black media is frequently snubbed by PR firms, we did so knowing that for countless people of color, black representation did and does matter. Okay? So with that one, that she pretty much said it all with that. Like,
so art represents life, right? Or it often imitates it as well, right? So I mean, I've heard the stories of the Rastafari being cut, the locks being cut forcibly,
Interesting. Right? I find that interesting. Like,
How? Yes, how?
Right?
Yes.
But this is why I guess she wrote about this, that it's important for identity. And again, we're going to go a little bit deeper. So she reports to us that one mother told me that the imagery in the book had helped to empower her daughter, who was having a hard time at school because she was the only black child in her year group. Another parent told me her son was thrilled to see a character that reflected his image. And one schoolboy wrote me a letter saying the book had helped him decide that he wants to be a pilot when he grows up. So with this, she's talking about the book that she wrote. It's actually a picture of Riley, the main character in her book. So this is the main character in her book. I can't remember what this book is called. I should have wrote it down.
Riley Can Do It, I believe. I believe it's Riley Can Do It.
Okay, so this is what she was talking about. This is the book that she wrote, and she is an author as well. So I think this is one of the reasons why she wrote this, is because she's passionate about that. And I'm sure she has children of her own. She mentioned she had boys of her own. So it's important for her, which is why she brought this up, right?
Of course. I mean, through the types of literature, it does spark the seed, right, of imagination, right? It sparks the seed of creativity as well.
We can put these up after. Hi.
Well, thank you.
I had to. I was looking, I was like, why do I look so blocked? Ugh. People are, continue.
I can't.
People can't see me again. What is this? Sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. I'm silly today. Go ahead.
I've lost my train of thought.
Okay.
It's gone.
Okay.
It oozed out the right side of my ear.
I'm sorry. So last thing from her is it really is true that he who feels it knows it. For those of us who know how it feels to have our voices, our stories, our history, and our identities rarely reflected in mainstream society, it's a joy when we do see ourselves reflected in a positive way. Like basic things.
Yeah.
it's not. It's one of those things where, like, again, we need to understand the psychology of things, which is why we're going to take it that much further in our next segment. But of course, you have to. We don't know what it's like to be in Africa, where all they see is their own. That's a completely different, like,
that is different.
Or
That's
in
a
the
different
Caribbean.
experience.
It's a different experience.
Yes, it is.
Right? We are not used to that here.
Right.
We don't turn on the TV and it's African. And being in Canada, you see pretty much everything.
Right.
But it's still mainstream.
True. And once again, these books open the door in regards to that type of experience. Right, to help somebody deal with such an experience, right? I mean, look at constantly, we have, of course, whatever elders went ahead and faced first coming in, right? Of them being only the only ones.
My dad spoke about that last week. He was the only one. He was
right?
one of the only people, and that's like, when you see someone else, it's like,
yes, finally, I read you, sister, right? So now, of course, could you imagine that? And look when your father came and you're speaking about that experience.
1969.
Okay, great. Look at the date that we're in right now, and we're still speaking of that same experience.
So when does the change happen? Or is the change happening and we just don't know about it, which is why I'm here to help you, is here to push the fact that there are some great books for African children and other minorities too. They have cultural books, which I think are very important for all cultures. Children need to know where they come from.
It does definitely help.
So when we come back, we're going to look into the psychology of why cultural literature matters. I didn't even say the word properly. Literature. See you guys soon. Can't even talk. This is Grant's fault.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Here to Help You. I know why I'm trying to act serious.
No, it's not going to be one of those days. Especially how it's raining outside.
Yeah, you guys need the joy and the cheer, and this is what I bring. Plus, our teammate here is suffering in the back, coughing up all types of lungs behind there. So I apologize for the coughing you may hear and the sniffling.
Coughing up all types of lungs.
Anyways, get better, Grant.
Get well, my brother.
Okay, get better. All right. So let's do some psychology. And yes, I'm going to break down terms. One of my friends said to me, Simone, and I said it to one of my friends this morning too, but she's like, Simone, you know why people don't like your stuff on social media? Because you use too many big words. I was like, what? What am I supposed to do? All this schooling, spent all this money, that was an investment.
Yes, I believe you should go ahead and use those 7-syllable words.
I'm using all of them.
There you go.
So I'm going to be going into an article that was written about the psychological effects during the development of a child. And why this is important is because they looked at the cultural and contextual influences in mental health help seeking. And this was actually talking about the fact that culture does influence a lot of how someone thinks and acts.
Okay.
So they broke it down a little bit, and I can actually at the end give you guys the actual article and the name of the author. So a psychologist. His name is Bronfenbrenner. And again, I'm not going to go into all of it, but you're laughing already.
Yes.
Articulated, how many syllables was that? Anyways, articulated the notion that the social environment consists of multiple spheres of influence, each defined by its proximity to the individual.
Okay.
So basically, that's saying that our social environment is made of different aspects, which makes sense. I'm going to break down the different spheres that are around us.
Okay.
So first, of course, your first form of influence is your family.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Right.
Right? You're born, first people you're born into is the family that you got.
The household, yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Then that's followed by context such as your neighborhood, which makes total sense. Right? So it's your family, then your neighborhood's next. So anyone around you can influence you as well as your family. Next is your school and community. Again, makes total sense. Right? So once your kids leave the neighborhood, they get to a certain age, they go to school.
Right.
And now they're part of a bigger community. Okay? All right. And then that usually plays a very important role in the lives of youth. So if you think about it, now, if a child is, and I'm going to go back to even our Canadian history, there is an underrepresentation of us in these books.
Right.
So there's this clash because I feel like at home, sometimes there's that cultural element from the family, which is good because it's there.
Right.
But again, this is what happens now with media, is now you turn on the TV, though, and it's like, bam, there's other influences right away.
Yes.
Right? Even within the home now. So I almost feel, which is what they do go on to say, that the outside now has actually infiltrated into the family.
Inside. Okay.
And think about it. Think about your children who are stuck to your iPads. What are they watching sometimes? What especially what cultural relevance does it have that they're watching? Right. For most, they're going with mainstream, and you don't see a lot of us in the mainstream when it comes to certain things. Not all things.
Not all things.
But certain things. You see us on stuff like, hip hop. What's that show called? Hip hop girls or hip. I sound like my mother. Seriously. New York hip hop show for hip.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I do. I do. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Basically, entertainment and sports. Basically.
Basketball,
right?
Raptors.
Entertainment and sports.
Right. That's where you'll see us. But like when it comes to educational or literature or anything like that, even game shows, you'll see us on.
Yeah, I know we got a few hosting. Right. Shout out to Wayne Brady.
Shout out to Steve Harvey. But no, it's you're looking at the spheres though. Right. So at the most distal level, the macro system is where culture and other contextual influences operate. So they're talking about now outside community. Now we're going into that social media phase I'm talking about. That's the outside. That's what's influencing us right now. Okay. So in theory, the environmental outer layer may have a profound effect on children and their adjustment. I can't even talk today. But its effects are subtle, elusive, and difficult to capture with the traditional techniques used for studying psychological phenomenon. Basically saying, that outside environment, stuff like things that are coming from the school.
Right.
Not this book. I'm just bringing up books, holding up the books so you can understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So books, what our children are learning.
Yes.
That has a huge influence on the way they think.
Of course. It's gone are the days where now, when we're looking at now of our children's educational development being amongst the community, right? Where the community, of course, it's all representations of themselves.
Symbols.
Right? Signs, symbols, right?
Yeah.
Literature, even the math, right?
Right.
Right now, a child cannot comprehend the fact that certain mathematical concepts are the direct representation of what has been structured on the continent. It's hard for them to go and grasp something like that. You take the largest pyramid, for instance, now built, right? And of course, you divide the dimensions. You're supposed to get an answer equal to pi.
Oh yes, pi is like what, 3.12?
It's the only number, right? It's the only mathematical equation that contains every number from 0 to 9.
I hate math. But it's circumference. Isn't that how I measure a circle?
Yes.
I times the diameter by 3.124. See? Guys, like I told you, math, English, literature, continue. Is that what we were talking about? Why are we even at math?
Hold on, but the relevance. Okay, right? The relevance.
Go with it.
And now, of course, now you're looking at, of course, the art of storytelling, right?
I'm going to put my Continue. Keep talking.
Okay. I see.
This is where we are today. Go on.
Yeah, don't worry. Right? I know. Good suggestion, Romy. Right? But now we see the relevance in this aspect where, and of course, like the art of storytelling, right? The griot at one point in time, right? Who knew all the stories, the history of course, the culture through, and told them through stories, right? This is something now that's it's gone. It's something that's no longer existing. It's just really now when you have a mixture of cultures coming out into one, like a melting pot.
Like Canada.
Right? Because, of course, now the child or student now needs to learn all aspects, right? And all of them are of direct representation, but nowhere close is our representation.
I hear you.
Right? So it's interesting. A few things that you brought up that kind of related back to a couple of our scholars. The aspect of our family. Asa Hilliard states that, you know what, there's been an attack on the family for so long.
Yes.
Right? So now, of course, once again, since we don't have an actual system for ourselves as of yet, we have to go ahead and turn over, of course, our children over to, of course, the system.
The school system, yeah.
Right? And now in doing so, we play by their rules. We understand what it is that they're looking for our children now to go ahead and excel. Right? So there's a disconnect.
Yes, of
right?
course.
There's a huge disconnect which is there. So that's one thing. Another thing that comes to mind is Dr. Amos Wilson, where, of course, the influencers, right? The community at large, or in this case, a neighborhood that you do live in, right? That being an influence, right? I'm also hearing, where is it?
You want me to read something again?
Yes, please. It'll go ahead and
trigger you?
Please.
At the most distal level, the macro systems where culture and other contextual influences operate?
Yes. Now.
See that? Fourth runner. You see how quick that was, right? Go on with it, third runner. Go on. Talk your talks.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Dr.
Wade Nobles comes to mind, right? When he states that people must cling to their culture, right? Like a child clings to their mother, right? And then learning, of course, now it's I can't say that it's bad. Learning, of course, about the world. Right, learning about, of course, other cultures. I can't say that it's bad, right? But now when you put those things as a priority over your own, right? Or, of course, now if you have a choice between, of course, a literature which is outside of your culture and literature within your culture, right? Equally as important. Which one are you going to go ahead and cling to?
Yeah.
Right. That comes down to the question, right? So these are some of the scholars that when I hear, of course, the lady's article, by means, you know, like the scholars.
It comes to mind.
Exactly.
And I guess in saying that too, I never want anyone to think we're saying you only show your children your cultures, because that would be stupid of me to say that. It is an ignorant thought to have. You can't just only like circulate the child with just you, but they need to have some type of context.
Yes.
And that's what this lady is saying, is that we're missing. Our children don't have context. They have other people's context before they have their own. If we can have our own context first, then you know what? Of course, it's so much smarter. I've taken this is the one thing, okay, university, for example. I say that every child should at least experience university or college away from home, because that's where you learn the most about other cultures. That's where I learned the most.
Okay.
For me, I went to a mostly black school, okay? Meadville, big up. And it was like, all me, right? There's other cultures there, but mostly me.
Right.
But once I had gotten out of that and went to university, that's when I started to learn about other cultures, and it does open your mind. It also allows you to see a lot of the similarities you have with people, right? So I'm not saying that you should not be teaching your children other cultures and other things like that, but it's important as parents and as educators, people who are out there working in the education system, whether it's tutoring, whether it's mentoring, whether it's in a program, we've got to start putting our own in front of our children, just so they start having some type of context. A lot of it, and we're going to go into it in the next section, why that's so important, okay? So let me just pull down these last two before we run out of time. So
go ahead.
Disentangling 5, that was only 5. Culture from context presents an even more complex challenge because one is so often used in defining the other. To a large extent, culture develops as a result of a specific cultural demand. So think about that. Culture develops as a result of specific cultural demand. So you have African children, and from the beginning, and this is that it goes back to that test they do where they say, which doll is prettier, the black doll or the white doll?
Right.
And all the black children are like the white doll. Well, why do they do that? Because what are they surrounded by?
Right. That's been ingrained.
There's no love for themselves. And that's where the biggest problem is. This is why it's so important that we surround ourselves, our children, with positive images of us.
Very
right?
true.
Not just shooting a jump shot or married to a hip hop star or doing the Dougie or being Cardi B. Again, no disrespect, but on the real, like, could Cardi, like, anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to judge. I'm gonna stop. When we come back, we're gonna look at some of the history behind the literature, African literature. Cardi B, I like some of your songs.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
We're back.
I know, but I was counting down, and his countdown sounded like a song.
What song was it?
The song that I'm dancing to.
Which is?
Don't know. Welcome back, everybody. We are doing this because, listen, outside is gross. We're trying to bring some, like, sunshine and energy into your YouTube screen, Facebook screen.
Yes.
Periscope screen, right?
All type of screen.
All types of screens. So if you're just joining us today, we are talking about the importance of African literature in our child's development, pretty much. So now, of course, we've done the article that stemmed it, Miss Davina, let me go back to her name. Hamilton, thank you, who is a British journalist specializing in arts, culture, and lifestyle. And her article was in the Huffington Post. Black representation matters in the books our kids grow up with. So we've kind of been using her article as a basis to go a little bit deeper, to explain last segment, if you missed it, we were being a little bit silly, but I was explaining
throughout the whole show.
Pretty much. I was explaining the cultural importance, or sorry, the psychological side of it. And a lot of that is just more, it was actually more of a sociology aspect, perspective, the whole Bronfenbrenner spheres of influence.
It's pretty good. Bronfenbrenner?
Guy.
Yeah, I know. I can't do it.
Schooled, man. I went past the school and community. I went further. I went to the macro and micro levels, so I'm there, you know? All right. So today, this segment, we're going to take a look at some history of African literature because, again, ignorance should not be bliss. And we need to understand where things come from and where and how we've gotten to this point, okay? And how long we've been fighting this fight. So Miss Lucinda Klein, and this is an article from 1992 that I dug up, and it's called African American Children's Literature. They didn't even really try to make it sound good. This is just what the title was. So one of the first things she says is, it is vitally important that all children understand the devastating effects of prejudice and the history of peoples who have withstood and preserved and survived such prejudice for generations. Thus, the essential need for quality African American children literature. Enough said. Like,
yeah, she hits the nail on the head.
Right on the head. Like, they just need to know.
Yeah.
And it's not to know it and be victims, but you need to understand that even though you've gone through all this, you are stronger than this.
That's right.
You've survived. You've persevered.
Exactly.
You've
the stories
withstood.
of triumphs, right? That's why, of course, the vigilance that Mrs. Jean Augustine speaks about, being vigilant, right? The resilience, even what we're listening to earlier today about being relentless as well in regarding that pursuit.
Oh, boy.
Right?
I'm a cleaner. If you need to know what that means, listen to or read Relentless. All right.
Yes.
Sorry. I just remember listening to it, and I remember being cleaner. It's cool, though. It honestly is a really cool book.
It is a good book.
Anyhow, so I'll continue then.
Please go
okay,
ahead.
Sorry.
Yes.
So the first African, and I just learned this today, which was cool. The first African American children's literature was published in the 1890s by a Miss A.E. Johnson. And she is credited as being the first author of a written book, presumably for children of color. I don't know what she meant by presumably, but I allowed it. I just maybe... Well, there's a little bit of controversy behind it. I'm going to say why, okay?
Go ahead.
So the novel Miss Johnson wrote portrayed well-mannered children striving to achieve the status of middle class. The book did not examine or portray prejudice or hardships. Instead, it offered goals to be achieved through assimilation and dogged perseverance. Now, this is why she said, presumably.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Words.
That's news to me, too, in regards to Mrs. A.E. Johnson.
Yeah.
I did not know.
There's a picture of her, I think. I think there is. I should have told you that. Yes, it's like a cart. Yes, Dave, there's definitely a picture.
The cartoon?
Yeah. It's not a cartoon. It's not there, is it? It's okay.
No,
Don't worry about it.
It's not the folder.
Okay, so sorry. So we
we'll put it up later.
Look her up.
Yeah,
Look her
please.
up. But you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, this being new to me, but we're looking, of course, at probably like the setting that the book was probably written in at that point in time, the influences as well.
Yeah.
Right? As much as now it didn't go ahead and actually speak to some of the atrocities, right, in situations.
That's what she was saying. Yeah.
Right. However, though, it does speak in regards to, of course, a mindset.
Absolutely.
Right, which is equally as important.
That's what I think so too. I think it was just maybe where she was thinking was just a little bit different than maybe some others, right?
Correct.
To be honest with you, it sounds like Miss A.E. Johnson was playing chess, to be honest with you. Like, just saying, though, she was like, look, there's a system that we're in. Maybe there was just more to that than we
perceive, right?
But it's okay. End of the day, she did it. So we happy. Thank you, Miss A.E. Johnson.
Yes.
Really? I can't. I have to thank her. So, also written in the same decade was a collection of poems entitled Little Brown Baby. I think I got this one. Yeah, boy. By Paul Dunbar. So, the most important publication of this time, and this book, The Little Brown Boy, I didn't get too much details on it, but I know that when I was doing some reading of it, it's real like slave language.
Okay.
Real like none of the words were full. So kind of like patois.
Broken English, yes.
Really messed up English. And understand a word it was saying, to be honest. I was just like, it made sense because it's like word was
Right.
So I could be wrong. It probably wasn't even word. It probably was another word. But the point again was he was showing children. And it's really good poetry. Like, regardless of how it was written,
yes.
I think the poetry is awesome.
Okay.
It's something, again, you guys, if you don't know and haven't heard about it, go check that out.
Yes.
All right. So now one of the most important publications, which most of you might know of this time, was Mr. W.E.B. Du Bois' children's magazine called The Brownies Book.
Oh,
okay.
This is interesting.
The Brownies Book.
Look at this.
So, the magazine, they said, had 7 stated goals. First goal, to make colored children realize that being colored is a normal, beautiful thing. Again, shows you the time. Colored.
The language used, yes.
It shows you how things have changed a little bit. No.
No, not necessarily. Because you know what? Instead of saying colored, we still use a color, right?
And we say black, which is the same thing.
Which is
so
the same
it's just
thing,
like
right? It's just
and
shrouded.
technically, black is a shade, not a color. I want to make sure that everyone understands.
Right.
Black is all colors. No, white is all colors. Black is an absence of color.
Right.
Okay, just want to make sure we understand that. For all the art students out there, y'all already know this. Yes, that was a second copy. Thank you for putting that up. So his second goal was to inform them of the achievement of their race. That's a pretty positive goal.
Yes.
I like that, right? Like these books had little achievements.
Of course.
Kind of what Miss A.E. Johnson was doing too.
Right.
Well, third is to inform them of the achievements of their race.
Which is excellent.
Honorable.
Yeah, bite-sized, bits of information that they can go ahead and store and then possibly use for inspiration. Why not?
Very honorable. To teach them a code of honor.
That's huge.
I like that.
That's very huge.
A code of honor.
Because of course us, right? There's a certain type of discipline that we should have been instilled with, right? Not just, of course, just rearing in the household, right? But of course, the governing ourselves, especially when we're in public, right? The of course the greeting, of course, right? The salutation, so on and so forth, right? So I mean, that stuff should be installed in all of us.
Just even like helping like elders when you see them, and like these little things that I think are really missed out now. Like how I see some young people. Listen, my dad told me, you better be very nice to old people because you're going there. Remember that you are getting there eventually. And if sorry, karma is real.
Yeah.
You go ahead and disrespect some older people and see how your life is when you get older.
Trust me.
To entertain them. Of course, everyone needs to be entertained.
Yes.
But if you're being entertained in a positive way, showing things of your achievements and how it's normal to be colored, the achievements of your race, that code of honor, they do it in an entertaining way. To provide them with a model for interacting with whites. Thought that was kind of interesting.
I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how something like this will be now instilled.
I thought that was interesting.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe like through stories, maybe through interviews.
I really want to see this.
Yeah, that's.
I want to find that one, the one that interacts with whites. But you know what? Remember context and time.
Right.
So in that time, remember. Our young boys, the people were getting killed. There's a lot of things happening during that time.
Right.
That there had to be a certain way that you had to act to just survive.
Right.
So if you think about that, as much as I was like,
wow, right?
It's still it's important. And it's like, again, I mentioned this when I had my small interview with my dad, that one of the first things he told me and brought to my attention right away is, listen, you are going to experience life differently because you are black. Done.
Yeah.
Understand that.
For sure. Like one of the things that I think that it's probably important more now in this day and age, right, is how to interact with law enforcement.
That would you know what, to be honest, if we were going to redo this list,
right, that's probably,
I would probably put that there because that's who they were having the most problems with actually at that time.
At that time
was law enforcement or KKK,
right,
or all the same stuff. I said it. So, the police, if you don't know their history, the originator of the original reason for the police. Please tell people, Dave, why was that institution created? You don't want to tell anybody?
Because you know what, you do it better than I do at this point. Go ahead.
So the initial reason, we're going to say this because again, context.
Right.
The initial, the time, Lord. Okay.
Don't worry.
So listen, I want to say this and then we'll come back, okay?
No problem.
The police were institutionalized.
Yes.
To protect the land of white slave owners.
Correct.
That was their job. That's how that institution started. So saying to provide them with a model for interacting with whites, you could switch that and say to provide them with a model for interacting with police officers. When we come back, we're going to finish this list up and then show you guys some literature that we have for you. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
See you guys soon.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
No, because I was trying to tell a story and I got interrupted. This show interrupting my stories. Welcome back, guys. So here to help you. So if you're just joining us, we are discussing the importance today of African literature, and we're just going through. So the first segment introduced the article that we got this from, Davina Hamilton. And then we discussed some of the sociological aspects of the spheres of influence when it comes to a child in their development.
Right.
And then we started talking about some history when it comes to African literature. And we're on W.E.B. Du Bois' list of his goals for writing the Brownies book.
Right.
Okay.
Could we get a picture back up of the Brownies book? Just in case.
No. Any of them.
He's saying no, not possible. Impossible, he says.
No.
Oh well.
There's one of them. I like that one. It was cool. I like that one. So I'm going to run through the first 5 quickly. So to make colored children realize that being colored is a normal, beautiful thing. To inform them of the achievement of their race. To teach them a code of honor. To entertain them. And our last one, which we discussed a little bit about, was to provide them with a model for interacting with whites.
Right.
So our next one is to instill pride in home and family.
Oh, boy.
I love it.
Lovely.
Very simple.
Of course.
I don't have to say anything else about that. So last one, to inspire them toward racial uplift and sacrifice.
That's huge. Sacrifice, especially, right? If they understand the stories of triumph, right, and the sacrifices along the way to get to that goal,
triumph,
right?
Understanding that life is not going to be easy, and sometimes it is sacrifice. When I look at sacrifice, you could look at it a couple ways. Something that I think is missing with some of our younger people is that idea of, again, community, what it means. In a community, sometimes you got to sacrifice your own to help someone else, and not everyone is willing to do that.
Right.
You know, it could be a sacrifice of money. It's not always money. It's sometimes sacrifice of time. You know, that's where volunteering comes in, the idea of sacrificing your time for somebody else. Right. So these are very important goals that I think W.E.B. Du Bois had brought up, and why we need more literature. Thank God it's there, but and this is why we're doing this, we need to get it out there more. It's not that it's not there, but it's just like I don't think people are seeing it, right? So that's what social media is for. Yay. All right. During the middle decades of this century, the majority of African American children's books were of 2 categories: Black biographies and novels.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that. And now that I think about it, most of them are. It's like it's a biography of someone, whether it's the most popular ones like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, right?
George Washington Carver, right?
George Washington Carver. Those are the biographies. And then, there's usually novels. The Book of Negroes, right? Like, just to think of one. Roots. So those are the 2 genres, I guess you would say.
Do that again? Go ahead.
Genre?
Just wanted to make sure.
One of my students makes fun of me when I say that. I'm like, can you even say it? So don't come at me, students. Don't come at me. So Black biographies transmit the message to African American children that quicksand and line mines, just what you were saying, characterize the road to becoming an African American achiever in America. Understanding that there are going to be difficulties that you're going to come up against.
Yes.
Right? That's what these biographies show. Ones like Rosa Parks, ones like Harriet Tubman, like those are some serious things they had to deal with.
Right.
You know, in order to become an achiever and to be noticed. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, same thing. Like some of the things that people have had to go through.
George Washington Carver. Remember, that man was castrated.
He
was castrated.
His PP cut off.
Still was able to go ahead and do so many things, Yes, I need to keep a serious face.
I know, you have to say serious.
Yes, because...
But how do you cover someone's pee-pee? That's terrible.
I'm telling you, man.
That's why his voice was all high?
That's probably one of the reasons.
But he was an achiever. Like
exactly.
That's the biggest landmine in a man's life,
yes.
I think. And if he could get through that, there's absolutely no reason that you guys can't do better.
And imagine, you know what?
At all.
They did it with less.
Yeah, and they did it with less. They didn't have social media.
No
he
internet.
Didn't have Snapchat.
No internet, no nothing. No smartphone. You know what I'm saying?
They barely had pigeons. All right. So, the novels of this time were mostly what is described as socially conscious or melting pot books. This literature told the stories of African American children and families by portraying them as colorless, universally good/bad characters. Mm-hmm. These books were important in their time for several reasons. First, they did speak of the universality of mankind. And while the African American culture certainly possesses a long list of culturally specific experiences and attributes, never before had blacks been portrayed in such a positive way. And I agree. Even with Kunta Kinte, the famous scene is when they're telling him to call himself Toby. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, my name is Kunta Kinte. Just strength. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now people, nowadays, none of us would last a minute. They'd be like, Toby! Toby, damn it. Toby. I ain't getting whipped. Toby. Right? So, but honestly, look at what that shows when it comes to that type of, strength.
The character.
That type of character. What they had to go through and still push through and became great people. And that's what these novels are supposed to show us. Right. Whether we take them that way or not. Right? You were going to say something. No? Okay. Literature functions as a major socialization agent. It tells students who and what their society and culture values, what kind of behaviors are acceptable and appropriate, and what it means to be a decent human being. Now, isn't any good literature supposed to do that anyways? Most of our religious books describe all of that, right? So, can we say religion sometimes is good? Because think about it. I always say this. The Bible, take it for what you want it, I think is a big book of how to live a good life.
Yes.
The rules in the 10 Commandments are just things that to me are common sense, like do not steal. Well, do you like when people thief things from you? It's just a simple do not fornicate. Or let me leave the fornicate one. Do not adulterize or be an adulterer. Well, do you want someone sleeping with your man? Is that something you like doing? It's just, some of these things are common sense. Do not kill. Honestly, on a real note, these are things that are just it's a common sense guideline. So, you know what? I remember my parents used to put the Bible. It was like the picture Bible. We're like, pictures, right? Yeah. And but it was David in the lion's den. Learn to stand up for what you believe in, right? Mind you, it wasn't African-American faces.
But still, the imagery, right?
The idea,
test of strength, the quicksand in this case.
The quicksand, right? Who was in quicksand? I know Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in the fire, were they not? Does anyone remember those names? Meshach?
Yes,
Shadrach,
Abednego.
And
right?
Abednego. I'm going to name my son Abednego. So,
yes, you will.
If African American students cannot find themselves and people like them in the books they read and have read to them, they receive a powerful message about how they are undervalued in both school and society. Really think about that right now. Mm-hmm. Think about that. You're sending your children to school and they get 28 days that they learn about who they are. And we have certain schools, which I will bring up again, who think that an idea of black history is having their children walk down the hall trained like slaves and sing slave songs and talk about being a slave. This is what they have for literature for us. This is what they have, 28 days. There's a problem.
Of course.
And it starts, honestly, I don't want to blame the schools. It starts at home, people. It really, really does.
We have to take responsibility. We can no longer be agents of non-cause, right? Where we simply sit on the sidelines and
complain.
Exactly.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
You have every right to be spirited at this point.
No, because other people are talking, but what are you doing? And we're going to talk about some people who've actually done something about it. People who I'm impressed with, who've actually gone out, like Davina, and said, okay, we have a problem. Let's add to the solution.
Right.
This is why when she speaks about it, I can respect her, because I'm like, you're not just talking.
Right.
You've done something.
Exactly. She wrote a book for her children.
She wrote a book for her children. So the use of African American literature can also serve as a tool to increase ethnic understanding, as well as serve as a springboard for discussion about and information concerning other ethnicities. Yes, just like I was saying, you can learn your own. It's a wonderful thing to learn your own, but just learning your own will open up the idea of learning other people's, but you still know who you are.
That's right.
And that's what's important, right? So let's talk about some of the people who've actually taken action. I'm not going to spend my time on people who just talk. Are you trying to get
Oh.
All right, actions. Let's hurry this up.
Go ahead.
You want us to take a break? We're taking a break, everybody. We'll be back in 14 seconds. We're going to take a break. This is the type of day, listen, you have to learn to have fun in whatever you do, right?
That is true.
And with topics like this, like, you know what? They
can
are
be
serious,
heavy.
but they're heavy, but you have to, like, it is what it is, guys. You have to, you know, we're just having fun here.
Yes, we are.
We'll be back with some book suggestions for you, okay? See you soon.
Whole squad on the real shit.
Just doing the social media thing, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Do the social media thing. Okay, so can we do this after, though? We have some exciting news for you guys after, too. We extended the show today because we have some, we want to talk about something that's going to be coming up soon.
Yes.
And, wow, beg. We have such an awesome producer that those were not my words. I'm just throwing it in there.
She's reading from the cue cards family.
Yes, there's cue cards up at this point. Everything from this point on has been scripted. Okay, media, propaganda, fake news. No, so let's talk about some books. Let's share with people some of these books that we have that we can. I'll start with who I have in front of us. So a Toronto local, Miss Sheena Blake. Her book is called More Than That. I believe she's the author and the illustrator. Is that the right word?
That's the person who draws the picture.
Yeah, man. Andrea Farrow. So I got the signed signature too. It was really cool. This is a really good book, actually. It's kind of cute. No, Mama loves me more than the stars in the sky. So again, positive affirmations. Daddy loves me more than there are blades of grass. Grandma loves me more than there are grains of sand. So this is a family book. Love it. Okay, yes. So she has done this one. So again, not a talker, a doer, took action. And I like this one. It's so nice and big and pretty. Choose to be your vision. So this is also a story by Miss Sheena Blake, and the illustrator is Andrea Farrow again. Girl, you just be drawn. Go ahead. But I like this one. This is a good book too, and it's so colorful, and it's so slight. And look, there's other cultures in there too. She puts other cultures in there, but the main characters are African American, Canadian, West Indian, all of that.
All of them.
All of that.
Yes.
Right? So, Sheena, we thank you. Thank you for being a doer and not a talker. Some books out. Choose to be your vision, and more than that. All right, Dave, you got some. Show us some books.
Yes. You know what? We'll just go right down the line. What's the first picture that we have? Yes, please.
15 Dogs.
15 Dogs. Yes. Andre Alexis. He's from the islands. Such a wonderful book. I have it at home. I haven't finished it yet, but I love the concept of the book.
Talk to me about the concept.
Okay, so basically it's 15 dogs, right? In a Canadian setting, but they've all been given human consciousness.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, right. So they now, of course, they interact with each other, such as humans would. So you'd see, of course, who's the sly ones, who's the shy ones, who's of course the aggressive ones, so on and so forth, right? What's next? Sorry, no, this is just freestyle.
This is this awesome producer I was just talking about a few minutes ago.
Oh, he's multitasking.
I'm gonna get kicked off this show, I swear.
Fate of. Oh yes, Miss Sarah. Yes.
So this is the author that was supposed to come in.
Yes. Today. When it comes to young adult fiction, Sarah, and how do you pronounce her name?
I think it's Rafley.
Rafley.
Raleigh.
Maybe.
The Raugley. Raleigh. The G and H sound like a, right?
Sometimes. Well, she's written a series. I believe The Fate of Flames was the first one in the book. The other one should be The Siege of Shadows. There we go. So 2-part series so far. I think there's a third one which should be coming out later in the year. I'm sure that when she gets a chance to come here, she'll be able to go ahead and let us know. Can we go to the next picture, please? Ah, yes, Canadian. Elijah of Buxton. Do you know where Buxton is?
No.
Have you heard of Buxton?
No.
No, not at all?
No.
Southern Ontario.
Buxton?
What? Uh-huh. Christopher Paul Curtis. This is a Canadian book. I've seen it. I haven't read it personally. However, though, I have come across parents who have purchased this for their children.
Okay. They've
enjoyed it, especially, the representation within it as well, right? And once again, a lot of people don't understand it, like the settlement that was outside of Toronto, right? Outside of Hamilton, right? When you go into the Buxton, the Dresden areas, right? I mean, we had there's a large population for us at that point in time, right? Can we go to the next one, please? Yes.
Oh, classic.
Yes. A book that we often use.
Yes.
Ms. Rosemary Sadlier's book, The Kids' Book of Black Canadian History.
This needs to be in your library.
It should be in every home.
Very important for all cultures.
Yes.
Everyone needs to understand.
Should definitely be in every home.
The historical. I can't find the word. But listen, Africans have been here for a long time.
Yes.
And we've been doing great things for a long time.
Yes.
And we are completely deleted from the history books. You don't even see us again until African History Month.
Well, this is why, of course, now, the doers, right, are our people who are now taking action.
Yes.
Right? This is why it's so important to go in and highlight their efforts.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's, of course, I don't care if you purchase the book through Amazon, but at least you purchased the book.
You have the book.
Right?
And some of that's going to her.
Exactly. Can we go to the next picture, please? Oh, yes. This is a classic, Monster. It's about
I remember this.
Teenage boy,
yeah.
right? A teenage African young male, right? Who is now being incarcerated.
I remember this.
Yes, very classic.
That's in high school. We had to read it.
There you go.
I remember that.
Right? So teenager, young adult fiction, right? Next one, please.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
I like this one. It's lots of color.
Yes, based off of Bob Marley's song, One Love. His daughter is the one who put this together.
Oh, nice.
Forgive me if I pronounced the name wrong. Sedelia, one of the two. I apologize. Marley. Sedelia? Thank you. I know.
Third runner. Always remember what I said at the beginning, guys.
She did say it, so
right.
I guess I didn't pass the baton. Next one, please.
You dropped it.
Guess it.
What is this? Oh, more color.
Yes,
Cool.
please, baby, please. By guess who?
Who?
Spike Lee
Ooh.
and Tanya Lewis Lee.
Is that his wife?
Uh-huh.
I love it, guys.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, doers.
Right, so definitely a contribution towards African children literature. Can we go to the next one, please? Yes,
The boy in the black suit.
that's right.
I like it. Talk to me about the boy in the black suit.
Also, teenage, probably young adult fiction. It's about a young man now who wears a black suit, right, day in and day out. So people are thinking, you know what? Oh, is he mourning and so on and so forth. However, though, he wears a suit because, of course, where he works for a mortician, right? So thus explains the black suit.
Okay.
But it continues to go.
He
on
wasn't a man in black, like the movie. We're just making sure there's this distinction. Offering my point.
Yes,
Go ahead.
You're absolutely right. Right, but good read definitely, and especially now. There's some teenagers out there right now, and some people specifically who are dealing with the feeling of loneliness.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, this book definitely highlights that, right, and also the company that keeps around them as well.
Okay.
All right.
Look at you.
Yeah, man.
All right, turd. Is there anything else?
Turd. Listen.
He's very educated.
Thank you so much. Next book, please. Ah, yes.
I don't have my glasses, but it looks like the Hate It Love. I can't see that.
I know you can. The Hate You Gave.
Okay.
Yes, by Miss Angie Thomas.
Give. You even read it wrong.
Thank you. Give.
Third.
Thank you.
Continue. Talk to us about this book.
I really don't know a whole lot about this book outside of the fact that it has been a bestseller.
Okay.
And outside of the fact, it's been printed in different languages.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Nice.
So it is a recent publication. So I believe it's in the last 5 to 6 years that it came out.
Okay.
But the lady who wrote it, Angie Thomas, I believe. Angie Thomas. Apologize about that. But anyways, she's gotten a lot of success from this publication. So I mean, we thank you very much for your efforts, Miss. Next book, please.
Ooh, The Princess and the Pea. They had it for Africans? That's cool.
Rachel Isadora.
That's cool. I like this. Is this the same story pretty much?
Pretty much.
But what was she lying on this time? And what was it? Was it really a pea?
I can't tell you.
Oh, man.
You're going to have to get the book.
Is it expensive?
Let's hope not.
Okay. But that's cool, though. So we have an African version of The Princess and the Pea.
Yeah.
She's probably on a rock stone.
And that's the P.
Okay.
Next. That was it?
There's no more? That was it, Princess and the Pea?
The
That's
last
cool.
one, Princess and the P.
But to see there's stuff out there.
Yes, and we even touched on, of course, the Langston Hughes, in regards to his contribution, especially with the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah,
right,
the Renaissance era. That's
we haven't
right.
touched on the fact that Casey Hayford was one of the first Africans on the continent who wrote a novel back in the early 1900s, right? So, I mean, our contribution has been here, right? It's up to us now to go ahead and highlight, do it and draw upon it, and say, hey, listen, this might be of interest for you, right? And to highlight, so that way now we're not looking to anybody else to go ahead and do it. We just did it ourselves.
So what we did right now today.
Pretty much.
He didn't drop the baton, guys. He's got it around to the 4th. Now I'm going to take it home. All right, you guys saw that exchange, right? You saw.
Still wasn't clean. She held on to it too long.
Anyways. So let's move on to some exciting things. Guys, thanks. That's our book show. And now we're going to talk about some business. What? We're talking about business now.
Business.
It's important because you know what? More than ever, there's this emphasis on creating your own business when we're talking about working and doing your own. There's a lot of workshops out there. There's, of course, the people who've been out there for a while. What's his name again? The guy who's a really good speaker. My mind is just messed up today.
You talking Les Brown?
Les Brown. Keep going through those.
That's the one I got right now.
Thank you very much, Dave.
You're welcome.
Anyhow, so there's always a lot out there about, starting your own business and how to do it and motivating yourself and how to get that done. And you know what? It's good to see it on YouTube and it's good to, again, listen to it. But something I've learned is you've got to be around people who are actively doing it. Because when you're around people who are actively in their own business, have been doing their own business, have done a 5-year business, have just started, you can talk about the struggles with them. You can network with them. And you never know sometimes how things can come out of these type of things.
That's
and
right.
me saying all of that, I don't know if you guys know, but the Business Social, which is put on by Carib 101 Media Group. I got it. Got it. I said it right?
Good save.
Yes. So part of our company is the Business Social.
Yes.
And what I like, last year was my first year at the Business Social. Last year we had Mishimi.
Yes.
And I want to talk about a few different things that are happening at the social this year. I'm going to start with the usual. So there's two sides of it. There's the marketplace.
Yes, where all the
Right?
vendors are going to be.
So you know what? Let me talk about that first. Let me talk about the marketplace. And this is where we're talking about, and to see what I'm flipping through. A lot of it is in this week's paper. So go ahead and pick that up. Local Caribbean store, supermarket. In
All
there,
of them there.
all of that in there. A lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, you'll find them in ads in there, okay? So one of the places is the market zone. And in the market zone, one of the great things about that and something that I saw last year was the fact that, you know what? Businesses, new business, I don't like to say small business, new business, more mature business, intermediate business,
Right.
larger businesses. I saw everyone interacting. And again, it's so important because they were able to vibe with someone
Right.
who has either been there before or are where they are, you know? Sorry, you look like you want to say something. No? Okay.
Go right ahead.
So that's happening. Sorry, I should give you guys a date. So that's happening on Sunday, May the 6th,
Yes.
2018. And can you tell us where it's going to be at, Dave?
The Pearson Convention Center, 2638 Steeles Avenue.
Okay. So we have the market zone where vendors, and I'll David let you do this part. What's happening with our vendors? Tell them about that experience. You were there too. What did you see? Why would someone want to be a vendor?
Well, first, outside of the networking opportunities, it gives you a chance to go ahead now and meet the public,
Yeah, with your business.
right? I mean, well, what else? You know, like it's a great avenue for doing something like that. It's a great avenue now, of course, for discovering other products as well, right? Maybe there's something there that, you know, that you haven't thought of that could spark an actual new business idea, right?
Cross promotion.
There you go, cross promotion as well, right? So I mean, like, there's ample opportunities for vendors to now, entrepreneurs to come in out and like just vibe.
And you can do pretty much anyhow. We still have some slots open. There's not many left because what happens every year is at the beginning of the year, it's like, I don't know if people are just, maybe it's just because like it's just our community guy. We're so lit for everything. Last minute, like right now, booths, people are now picking up these booths because they hear about it a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then they start to hear about it more. Then it's
Right.
like, oh, okay, this is happening, right? So we do have booths available still.
Yes.
If you're interested in a booth, and I'm saying you can do anything. We have home essentials, auto graphics, auto products and services, apparel, city services. The police are going to be there this year. I know people are like, well, then we're not coming. No. They're not unofficial business guys. They're just, they're going to leave you alone. Don't worry. Trust me. They're really cool. No, they were fun there last year,
Yes,
actually.
they were.
I think every year they do something a little bit different. But cosmetics, legal, real estate, mortgage, I've seen it all. Last year I saw everything. That's such a good mix. And even if you and 4 other people are doing the exact same thing, how they had it said, which was interesting, is that, you know what? Yeah, you'd see makeup here, but you see maybe something over here you like, and maybe
Right.
something over here you like.
Right.
And it's a very nice cornucopia of products and businesses. I love it, and services. It's awesome.
We're expecting approximately 1,000 people to come through those doors.
And do you know that, guess what? It is free to attend the market zone. You don't got to pay for that part. That's the best thing about it. You
There
can
you
just
go.
show up and shop. Get things that are exclusive. Women, you like exclusive things. So this is an opportunity there. Okay. No, honestly, I like to go to these type of things because sometimes there's things when people who make things. That's another
right.
thing. If you make anything, if you make clothing, if you make jewelry, great opportunity to get your business out there. People love to be exclusive. So if I can go to some type of event like this where I can shop and pick up little exclusive things, it's always nice, right?
Yes.
And then we have the other side. So there's going to be an event or a panel, okay? And this year it's called The Next Level. We have some speakers. You guys have seen the commercials. We have Simone Denny.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing her story.
Yeah, so am I. And her one song was enough to propel her to where she is, and she hasn't stopped working.
That's the beauty about it.
Right? Armin, can you say his last name for me?
Mackenzie.
Shafi.
Shafi.
Okay. Strong young man speaker.
Okay.
He's just one of those people who he captivates. He's very energetic. I've seen him speak before. Very, very energetic young man.
Okay.
And of course, we have returning Mishi Me, which I think is awesome just because she's local grown and raised and bred. We love you. We love you, Mishi Me.
Go on with it, Mishi.
She's going to be back speaking. And the host this year, the host with the most, Mr. Brandon. Brandon, what do you say about Brandon? Just that he's probably going to be a really good host. I'll tell you that. He'll keep you laughing.
He's got a lot of energy.
Tons of energy. That man walks through the room, it's like, oh. So we have a very good, and guess what? We have panels this year, panel discussions. We're adding something new. We're taking it to that next level.
That's right.
Let's read about who's on the panels. So we have Miss Shar, Sri Allison, and she is her catering service. Everyone knows about Shar. Shar's is awesome.
Shar is wonderful. Big up, Shar.
The great Jeff Bridgepaul.
Jay
Bridgepaul. I didn't butcher it. You know what? I'm blind. In my defense, I should have known it was Jay. Sorry, but once I did this, people knew I was talking about Jay. We have Kevin Hun. Yes, he's been on. Wasn't he on your show? He was on Grant's show.
Okay.
For him, he is business strategist. Oh. Some things you can learn from him.
Okay.
Definitely. He's been doing it for a while.
Okay. I've never heard of him before, but
I watched The Gloves Are Off, which is coming back soon. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Then I can't say this name. Can you say that for me, please?
Sure. Babir Kawar Sohi.
So she is the founder of Smiles on Wheels, and why is she so important is that she was put in the spotlight
by the ultimate dragon.
The ultimate dragon. Mm-hmm. So and what's that show called again?
Dragon's Den.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. That show's terrifying to me. I'm like, I would never go on. So it's gonna be cool to hear about her experience, right? Doing that, because how many people do you know who's gone on Dragon's Den, right? To stamp in front of these people and have them just be like, look, your product sucks, me. Come out.
No, they don't say it like that.
Yeah, and she did well with this. I'm saying she's gonna be awesome to have on there. So that's really cool.
Awesome.
And then Gerald Johnson. Yeah, man, Mr. J.A. himself.
Brother Gerald.
We're looking forward to. I love to be the fact that I'm going to be I shouldn't say anything yet. Let me drop the good news after. So we have Mrs. I'm going to make sure, and again, I'm saying these names. I'm hopefully correct. So Sheila. Say the last name for me, please. Tricarton. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it sounds. So I could have done that one.
Yes, you could.
All right. Sheila is, you know what? I haven't met her yet. I'm actually kind of excited about meeting her because of the work she does. I'm not going to give it away. Someone definitely special you guys need to hear. This woman has helped change many people's lives. Mm-hmm. So she'll be cool to have on. And she's internationally renowned, excuse. So you know what? And there's a show. There's actually, if you want to see some of her stuff on my TC, and if you go to the YouTube channel, she actually did a webinar, which would be kind of cool for you guys to check out. It's not there? Okay, so, it's private. Where can we find that? Can we find it? Oh, you can. Okay, so it was filmed here, but you can't find it, but you can purchase it. Okay, someone who you should look forward to hearing. She's cool. I like her energy. Okay, Jamel Lindo. So Mr. Visionary, he'll be back.
Oh, nice.
You know,
it's been a while since I've seen him.
Yeah,
it'd be good to see him in that type of element once again.
He's a good speaker, you know.
He is.
Very motivated young man. It'll be good to, again, for younger people, it'll be good to hear him speak.
Yes.
Mr. Hugh Anthony. That's so cool.
Brother Hugh.
There's another person there, but I think I should just skip over him. I'm just going to skip over that name. Mr. Grant, the one and only Mr. Grant Browning, my brethren. I've heard all he has to say, but I have to be there. So, you guys, Toronto Caribbean newspaper, Carib 101, my TCN TV. He's obviously done something that a lot of people haven't. So to hear his story, that would just be honestly. Sometimes people don't realize. Sometimes you need to just sit back and humble yourself and listen. You never know what you might learn.
There you go.
And then this last person seems legendary. I don't know who she is.
Hold on. Let Go ahead and read the name.
I think you should introduce her. Go ahead. She's on the panel. This is the reason you guys should really come. Okay? This is the main reason.
For anything, definitely.
Introduce her.
This person has a BA honors in psychology, a master's in humanistic and clinical psychology / mental health. She's also program director.
Guy, why are you sounding this off like you don't know these things already?
Because I'm reading the paper.
Like, what kind of intro was that? I would have done a much better intro.
Yes, I know, because it's different when you're speaking for, right?
Drop the name. Drop the name.
My hostess with the mostest. The nonette. Simone Jennifer Smith.
But you know what? I'm going to cuss Grant because in here, it just says Simone Smith. Where's Jennifer? That's not me.
Well, you know.
That's an imposter. But no, I'm going to be on the panel too. I'm
It's interesting to know too that combined, there's over $2 billion of business that has been touched on in that room.
combined, and that includes mine. There is about $2 billion
Yes.
of investment in that room, just that room alone, including me. Okay?
Yes.
It's be awesome. I'm so excited to be part of a panel. Like, and honestly, to sit down with some of these people, it's going to be an honor for me.
There you
know,
go.
Again, I'll tell you, I'll probably do a lot more listening than talking. But you can get tickets for that. You go to... Yeah, I forgot. You know what? People love a discount. Grant, I'm tired. It's been a long day. So listen, you guys can contact me and you can get a discount on your tickets. If you enter the name Simone, the promo code Simone, you get 25% off your tickets early bird. So I don't know how long that's going to last for. Maybe not too long, but you have some time now, at least for the next month. And then everything's going to go up. So, and do you have one, Dave? You don't have no promo code.
Yours. I got your promo code.
Okay.
That's all I need.
So Dave has, I'm going to give Dave 5 of my tickets. So Dave, there you go. You got 5 of them that you can give away for promo. Okay.
Oh.
25% off, guys. So you guys can go to
thank you.
Dave too, if you need to. All right. Guys, listen. Let's work together. Let's come together. Let's do some work together. I think it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to the business social. Not just because I'm going to be on the panel. It's a huge reason, but that's not the only reason. It's going to be good to be around other people, other businesses, and just to network. I had so much fun last year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it. Well worth it.
Definitely.
So, guys, thank you so much. Do you have anything you want to say about the event, about the show, about the social, anything?
Well, outside of the fact that, you know what, I'm interested in hearing everybody's stories, right? I'm interested in hearing how everybody's going to come together, right? And where, you know, like when a bunch of people come together, like the chips just fall in place.
Yes, if you're paying attention.
That's what I'm that's what I'm interested in hearing. Is that how everybody's stories will fall in place, right? And assist everybody, of course, who's in the audience.
And your queen's going to be there.
Yes. So, holy papikcha taking that.
Everybody, thank you so much. We're getting, oh, yeah, man, Instagram. Yes,
No.
Instagram. At Simone Jennifer Smith on Instagram and
You say it better than I do. Go ahead.
at IR Dave Rankin. And you know what's really annoying is the fact that he teaches English. This is terrible. IR Dave Rankin.
Yes.
Guys.
It's authentic.
It's something. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me, Instagram me, hit me up on a DM, whatever.
Put a comment on the video.
Put a comment on the video, like, subscribe, and share. I know this is some of the information here was very, very important. Have a wonderful, safe afternoon. Drive safe if you're still on the roads, and we will see you next week.
God bless.
Bye, everybody.
Peace and love, family.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.